Happy morning, darlings. There was a very beautiful research done in America on the judicial system. America is a very funny system where if you post bail and their bail amounts are quite high uh, and plead guilty, then you are allowed to go back home. And they found more than 70% people who have not committed a crime accept that they have done a crime because they don't want to be in jail because they want to go back home. Home is a place where people feel secure. Home is a place where people feel that they belong. Every time we have a KMM session, I feel I'm at home with all my family members. So it's so beautiful to see all of you. And I'm waiting for that time where we can have a live session with all of us. Thank you so much for coming early in the morning and looking forward to a very, very beautiful session. No society ever outperforms its institutions. And that is why people who are nationalists, people who believe in their country, would always say, let's make strong institutions. Like judiciary is an institution, press is an institution. And if a country has to work properly, its institutions must be very, very strong. No institution can ever outperform its aspirations. What does that institution want to deliver? So, if the justice system says we want to give speedy justice, then it starts working in that direction and it solves many issues for lakhs of people who are still languishing in the criminal justice system. If the press says we want to give unbiased, unopinionated pieces so that people take an educated guess about what is happening, which government should we choose? If the press does not have this aspiration and wants to answer only to some political masters they have or the industrialist advertisers they have, then the institution becomes weak. So, no society will ever outperform its institutions, and no institution will ever outperform its aspirations. And no aspiration can outgrow a person who has it. These aspirations come from people. So when a Mahatma Gandhi says freedom through non-violence, it begins from a person, becomes an institution, becomes a society, and powers a nation. So when you see huge scale, classy impact movements, it all begins with the aspiration inside one human being, one individual. I'm sure all of you who are present over here, Sunday early in the morning, and some of our dear friends from other parts of the country, you would have created a special 2 hour slot to be in the present, be with Keep Moving movement, and reaching out to children, impacting the life of the youth and the teens, lifting the society by sharing your life experiences, being there with them as a powerful, positive adult influence must be your aspirations. No society outperforms its institutions. No institution will outperform its aspirations, and no aspiration can outperform a person who has it. I deeply believe that all of us have some superpowers. Some would have found it, some wouldn't have found it, but all of us have a very strong superpower. For example, Superman can fly. Hanuman has devotion. By the way, the first of these super people was Hanuman. Superman, Spider Man, Batman, they all came much later. Hanuman had devotion as a superpower. Question is, what is your superpower? Take 30 seconds and just think and write down on a sheet of paper. My superpower is. It can be kindness in your heart. It can be selflessness. It can be self belief. It can be thinking big. It can be carrying people along with me. It can be speaking very sweetly always. It can be sense of humor. It can be the ability to forgive. It can be love for the children, love for youth, love for family. What is your superpower? So please write down. My superpower is. We did an exceptional survey among students some time back, and some startling data stopped us right in the tracks. I'm going to ask you a few questions and I'm just going to imagine the answers. And if you feel like, you can key in the answers in the chat box. These are very beautiful questions. And the answers were sensational in a few places. So I'm just going to share the questions and see if you can just estimate the answers. Do you know how many children say parents don't understand us? And I'm speaking about kids who are in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Huh? And we are talking about doing this survey with over 1,000 children across big cities, small cities, government schools, IB schools, so across a cross section of the society. Well, about 80% children said that our parents don't understand us. Do you know how many children give up when they are faced with the possibility of failure? 52%. If they think that they will fail, they give up. Which also means something very important. If they are enthusiastic about learning something, they start learning that, and there in some place, if they get stuck, they give up. Let's say, for example, if a child is going to a football school, and he loves playing football, loves running around, loves kicking the ball, loves passing. But if the coach is teaching them how to dribble between defenders, and for some reason they are not getting dribbling right and others have got it, they give up. They are good in 8 out of 10 things in football. 2 things they are taking a little extra time, but others have got it. They start saying, "Ye mere chai ki pyali nahi hai. It's not my cup of tea." And they give up. Okay, this is another very important thing. Do you know how many of these youngsters lose composure immediately when they are provoked? Somebody says something to them, slight provocation, they lose composure, 45% of them. Composure, self-control is a little less. They can't handle the negative comments by anybody in the world. Here is another one. Do you know how many said they would love to face challenges if someone believes in them? 72%. They would love to break their comfort zones. They would love to take up challenges. They would want to explore into something where they may not be really spontaneously good at if they have one positive adult influence in their life who believes in them. who's going to be non judgmental towards them. 72% children will do much better in life if one adult believes in them. Here's another one. Do you know how many said, if encouraged, we would love to ask questions and become better? Yeah, close to 65%, which means encouragement is missing in their life. There is a stage where we give children a lot of encouragement and insignificant judgments. And then a stage comes where adults start judging the children for everything and encouragement goes down. 65% of our teenagers in class 8, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th said, we would love to face challenges if someone believes in us. 72% of them. And 65% of them, if encouraged, we would ask questions. And the most startling fact that hit us really, really hard, which will become the base of Keep Moving movement this year. You know how many percentage of children said they are confident about the future? Get ready to be shocked. 3.7% children, which includes toppers in school, which includes children who have charisma and are liked by others, which includes children who study exceptionally well and play sports very well, and it includes people who are playing sports well, which means it includes children who are doing well in many things. It includes children who are doing well in one thing. 3.7%. Which means if you meet 100 children, a little less than 4 of them are confident about their future. Our generation needs our help. And if you and me don't help them, who will? Now, to create a guideline for this year's KMM, we asked these children top 3 qualities that they would love to develop in themselves. And the answer? Confidence, controlling anger, and communication skills. Obviously, only 3.7% people think their future is great, so they want to grow in confidence. More than 65% of people react immediately when provoked. So they realize it is an issue. So they want to master, if not control, their anger. And since they feel insecure and not very confident about the world around them, since they don't have enough appreciation in their life, since they don't have too many people who believe in themselves, they understand that they need to become better communicators. Many of you who have teenagers, you would have gone through this. Your children speak to you in yes, no, maybe, I don't want to do it, I want to do it. And we don't have dialogues. So the kids say, we would love to develop our communication. Confidence, controlling anger, and communication. In short, this is going to be the mission of Keep Moving movement in the year 2023. And these 3 are born not because of our perception of what is required, but this is born out of a research done on thousands of children. Or what is it that they are very genuinely, actively, actually looking for? Here is a question that I would like to ask all of you. What did you learn in school that has helped you in facing difficult situations in your life? In the school, we know we are taught maths, algebra, science, geography, history, languages. But this is the question: what did you learn in school that has helped you face difficult situations of life? We have learned in school some things which will help us make money later on, which will help us be economically independent. But this is a critical question. What is it that we have learned in school that has helped us face difficult situations of life? Most of us would say we have learned nothing in school which has helped us to face difficult situations in life. And some of us, I am sure, had some children. I see Joe has raised her hand. Yes, Joe, would you like to share something?
Happy morning to everyone. In school, I had this one teacher called Mrs. Ray, and right through my high school, that is from fifth standard to 10th standard, she's been my science teacher. And by the because I was a prefect, I was a witness to a lot of teacher meetings that used to happen. And because Mrs. Ray was very progressive and very pro children, she would want to give us many opportunities. And there was another teacher called Mrs. Mystery, some who used to generally get irritated even by the sweetest of child in the class. And she used to create a big fight in these team meetings. And almost 99% times I used to observe that Mrs. Ray would never give back any answer if instigated. She will wait and she will let everything cool down and at the right time give the answer. So I think just by observing Mrs. Ray, I've realized in heated situations, I need not have the last statement. I need to find the right time to convey I want to in the right manner. And it has helped me to face a lot of challenges with people early in life with my father and settle down a lot of things. So that I think has really helped me from my school. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful sharing. Beautiful. Thanks for the sharing, Joe. See, the sad fact is, this is not defined as the role of teachers, but this is what great teachers do. The sad fact is, most people see the worst in others. And they see them this way because of their own anger, fear, and limitations. And these kind of teachers, Mrs. Ray, they are leaders in life. They are different. They look for the best in people. Why keep moving movement is important is when we go inside the classroom and when we talk about certain topics, as a volunteer of KMM inside the classroom, standing in front of the children, we are looking for the best in the children and not for the worst in the children. Nobody is perfect, nothing is perfect, everything has scope to improve, everybody has scope to grow. But the approach that we have to people makes all the difference. The difference between a positive adult influence and a negative adult influence lies exactly over here. Today, because many families have double income couples or super socially tough people, the kids do not get a chance to build on a conversation. Adults don't have the patience to groom the children. And that is why the survey results were astonishing. Like, if somebody encourages me to face a challenge, then I would love to go ahead, 72% people. This is startling, which just means at home there are not enough conversations or not enough people who believe in them. And teachers have so much to cover and so much to do. Only these amazing teachers would create some time and groom children, like I have read in the chat boxes over here. This is where our job lies. You need not be an extraordinary communicator for you to go and take a session in KMM. You need to have that heart. And later on, I'll discuss how do we get molded to become the communicator we need to be to create an extraordinary impact in the life of these youngsters. Leaders are different because leaders are always looking for the best in people. And the beautiful advantage of being a part of KMM is when I am training myself to think that way as I go inside the classroom, it becomes easy to make it as my behavior with colleagues at office and people at home. So not only do I end up doing social impact work, I also end up doing economic impact work and family impact work if I'm a dedicated soldier of Keep Moving movement. All of us technically know that we should look good in people, but we are not trained that way. And when you are trained to do that, the magic happens. Let me share with you the journey of human empowerment. How the world has changed across the last few centuries. In the 18th century end, would you believe it if I say 3/4 of humanity was slaves? 3/4. Till the end of 18th century, just about 200 odd years ago, 3 out of 4 people were slaves. In the 1970s, breathtaking things happened. The number of universities in the whole world just doubled. So it took us about 200, 250 years for slavery to be abolished, education to become a focus. And after about 250, 60 years of work, in the 1970s, in a single decade, the number of universities in the world doubled. Here is another beautiful thing which happened in the next decade. In the 1980s, from 20%, 80% of children in this world got vaccinated. So many children used to die. So many children used to have physical deformities because they were not vaccinated. Now see the concern of the whole world moving deeper and deeper, and as education spreads and as empowerment spreads, in the 80s, number of kids who were vaccinated increased from 20% to 80%, 4 times. In the 90s, a very small thing happened, but which made an extraordinary impact. Salt became iodized, as a result of which millions of humans were saved from being mentally and physically challenged. And this decade is all about digitization. Today, every child has a university in their pocket, and every human being has the knowledge of the whole world in this beautiful device called the mobile phone. In today's world, with the pressures, with the negativity that all of us have in our lives, with 3.7% children being confident about the future, with the knowledge that one powerful adult influence can transform a child's life, we believe every child needs a champion. Every child needs a champion. And that is what you and me are going to be through KMM in the lives of all the children who are there inside your classroom. Now, before we move ahead and deeper, let us find whether you are the right person to be a part of Keep Moving movement or not. While Keep Moving movement is doing phenomenal work for 22 years, in 22 years we have transformed close to 3.5 lakh children's lives. Let's find out if you and me are right for Keep Moving movement. Well, you are right to be in KMM if you believe in clear. Now, what does clear stand for? Connect. If you are a person who likes human beings, if you are a person who likes to interact with people, if you are a person who likes to make friends, because all the kids inside the classroom are going to become new friends. If you're a person who enjoys the idea that let me connect with people, then keep moving movement is right for you and you are right for keep moving movement. Then, if you're a person who likes to learn, believe that you don't know enough. Believe there is so much scope for you to learn. Believe that learning is a bottomless pit and you will never reach the end of this pit. If you believe that learning is actually fun, if you believe that learning is a lifelong process and all of us are excited to learn, because we are going to go inside the classroom with the idea of teaching something to children. And if you don't believe in the ability to learn, then your best won't come out. So if you love to connect, if you are a lifelong learner, if you're also a person who believes in earning, over here, of course, earning does not mean money, but let's say you want to earn fulfillment. You want to earn new friends, new relationships, new connects. If you want to earn the silent goodwill through the hearts of the children. मतलब अपने आप बोलते हैं ना कि जब दवा काम नहीं आती तब दुआ काम आती है, और दुआ तो सिर्फ कमाई से मिलती है, दुआ सिर्फ मांगने से नहीं मिलती, दुआ सिर्फ जरूरत पे नहीं मिलती है। तुमने किसी का कुछ किया है तो वो तुम्हारे लिए दुआ करता है. So if you're a person who says, I would like to earn the well wishes of people, then KMM is right for you. And finally, if you're a person who believes that you are a blessed soul, you won the cosmic lottery, hence your life is really good and nice. If you believe that it is time for you to give back to the society, and if you are determined to give back, if your mindset is not that when I am free I will do this, when I have surplus I will do this, you believe right now is the time for me to start returning. So if you are clear about clear, if today your mindset is I want to connect, I want to learn, I want to earn, and I want to return, then keep moving movement is perfect for you. Acha, by the way, since it is summer, let me ask all of you, छुट्टी में कहीं जाके आए? हॉलीडे बनाया? अच्छा, there is one place which I can recommend that you should not go. Which place you want to go is your choice, but one place you should not go. Do you know there is a place on this world called the Death Valley? Nahi malum. See, I'm telling you, we have so much to learn. There is a place in California. You know California? You know United States of America? Okay, in California, there is a place called the Death Valley. And what is it about Death Valley? Well, बहुत simple. Over here, the temperature reaches as high as 57.4 degrees in the summers. As a result of which, needless to say, it is very, very hot. It is also called as the driest place on this planet. In fact, Death Valley is drier than Sahara. क्योंकि वहां किसी का सहारा ही नहीं है, बहुत ड्राई है वो. In fact, it is about 100 square miles. And you know how many people stay in Death Valley? 300 people. It's bigger than most states in India, and 300 people stay there. Since I am from Pune, let me talk a little about Pune. In Pune, the average rainfall in a year is about 28.5 centimeters. Did you know that? I'm telling you, there is so much to learn. In Pune, average rainfall is about 28.5 centimeters. In Death Valley, the average rainfall in a year is about 3% of that, which is close to 1 inch a year. Sorry, in Pune, the average rainfall is 28.5 inches. Did I say centimeters? I have so much to learn. 1 inch rainfall, which means what we would have got yesterday in Pune, Death Valley gets in the entire year. There was a 3.5 period when they got only half an inch of rainfall. So nothing grows there, nothing. It is too hot, too dry, and that is why it's called the Death Valley. Now here is my request. Let your mind not go in other direction. Don't make plans to send somebody to Death Valley. Badmash log, stay focused. Don't get distracted. Interestingly, in the winter of 2005, for some unexplained reasons, 6 inches of rain fell in the Death Valley. And shortly afterwards, surprisingly, the whole valley was surrounded with wildflowers. Wildflowers popped up and carpeted the entire valley. The valley of death became a valley of life. It turns out it was not dead at all, it was dormant. This is a picture from the carpet of valley, which is called as the Death Valley in the year 2005. There were seeds below the soil. They just needed the right conditions to flourish and to grow. Many times, people are exactly like this. And that is why institutions like Keep Moving Movement are required. And that is why individuals like you and me are required. Many families have given up on their children. Many parents look at their children and believe, kuch nahi ho sakta. Many adults all the time are looking at some youngsters and saying, ye useless hai. They see these children as Death Valley. A KMM volunteer will go inside the classroom. Teachers and other adults have given up on these children. And a volunteer will look at these kids. They see sand, but they believe the seeds are not dead. It is not that they don't exist. It is just below, waiting for the right circumstance, right situation, a little bit of rainfall, and it will be blooming and carpeted with flowers. In the past 22 years, again and again, every year, we have experienced these transformations happening in the life of children. Where what was the valley of death becomes a valley of life. This year, we are planning to do KMM a little differently. I'll share with you a very simple structure that we will have to KMM this year. Every session, there will be one beautiful, powerful story. Very, very beautiful and very, very powerful story. Like today, I shared with you a very, very small anecdotal story about the Death Valley. Like that, every session, there will be one story which will stop the kids on their tracks and they want to listen to you. So we are not talking about WhatsApp forwards. We are not talking about fake news. We are talking about some story which the world does not know. Chances are you have never heard this story in your life, and the children have also not heard this story in life. And yet, one story has the power to open certain windows of thoughts, open certain perspectives in their minds. Every session, we will have one powerful story to narrate to the children. They say a story is valued more than 1,000 words. And the moment you share a story, the kids connect with you. So we are going to train you on how to become a storyteller. We are going to train you on how do you build suspense. We are going to tell you when something will become more than enough and when something becomes excessive. We'll tell you. See, what is a great story? A great story has some fact which cannot be anticipated. That is what makes a great story. So as I spoke about Death Valley, and as you thought about sending somebody over there, you wouldn't have anticipated that actually it became the valley of life. Now that is a great story. So every session will have one very powerful story. Story that is life-changing. So this year, 7 sessions, 7 stories. Second, every session we will have self-assessment. That is the second thing. Self-assessment, on the other hand, are small questions and small tools which makes you assess yourself based on certain parameters and certain guidelines. So let's do a very simple and a beautiful self-assessment exercise with all of you. I'm going to talk to you about 3 different kinds of mindset. What are the 3 mindsets? One is a mindset which is called courage-based progress-making mindset. I want to make progress in life, and the base of my life, base of my thinking is courage. The second will be about excitement-based focus. I look forward to do things not because of courage, but because of excitement, or how excited I am about making progress in life. The third is about having a mindset with a focus on the future. Courage भी नहीं, excitement भी नहीं, मेरा future अच्छा होना चाहिए. You are very focused on a beautiful future for yourself. So let's say these are the 3 things which are the most powerful ways by which somebody creates a mindset. To give you a little background, almost all of us carry fear in our heart. And we take decisions in life not based out of possibilities, but based out of fear. The fear of failure, fear of ridicule, fear of getting rejected stops us much more than possibilities of breakthroughs. So a person who lives his life wanting to be safe, and he wants to be safe because he has been told a million times that क्या ये गलती किया, वापस तेरे से गलती हो गया, ऐसे कैसे गलती किया, तुम्हारे में अक्ल नहीं क्या, तुम्हारे में दिमाग नहीं क्या, मैंने तुमको पहले बोला था ना. So they have been conditioned to told, if you are failing, it means you are absolutely good for nothing, useless, you are Death Valley. Now when these people are told, be courageous, they know that they have to be courageous. But the sense of fear that they've experienced in their past is so strong that they find it difficult to break through. Now, how do I give a tool by which I create a scenario and tell you, what do you think about yourself? Now, when I give you 3 or 4 scenarios and I say, where do you find yourself? And I tell you, you don't have to give me an answer, but you just have to understand in which box are you. You are in box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4. That becomes self-assessment. So me saying this is not okay, I might be judgmental, I might be wrong. You actually might be wrong in that scenario, but you may not have the maturity to accept. So self-assessment becomes super powerful. This year, for the first time in every session, we are introducing self-assessment. Not dry self-assessment, but something as interesting as 2 or 3 pointers, a little story, a little scenario, a 10, 12, 15-minute exercise. And the children themselves will realize where they are, and therefore their propensity to learn, their propensity to hold on to your fingers and lift themselves will become stronger and higher. So let's do something with all of you. Let's talk about courage based progress. And you have to just mark yourself 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on whether you're in scenario 1 or scenario 2 or scenario 3 or scenario 4. 1, you refuse to make any kind of change until you have the capability and confidence that guarantees success. You change provided in your head you are assured that ये करने से success मिलेगा. Second scenario, you know there are big improvements you need to make, but the required changes scares you. Sometimes we have the power, but the quantum of changes we need to make scares us. बाप रे कितना बदलना पड़ेगा. Scenario number 3, you feel that all the risky, uncertain things in your life are in the past, and you look forward to doing things even if there is a possibility of failure. Fundamentally, you believe that your future is great. Scenario number 4, you have visualized a great future. And towards your great future, you know what are the comfort zone breaking things you need to do today. And not just today, but on a consistent basis. Your comfort zone breaking exercise is not once in a few months. You know that you have to break certain molds, and you do that consistently. Well, breaking comfort zones is designed as a part of your life. Keeping what? Keeping a very beautiful future goal that you have in your mind. So let's say you do a business of 150 crores. And in 1 year, you're determined to make it 250 crores. Your space is the same, your investments are the same, your team is the same. The market is huge. You have a share of the market, let's say 5% share of the market, and you know all you need to do is make it 7% share. But everybody else is also fighting to expand that market share, so you know it's not going to be easy. Everybody who has 5% wants to make it 7%. You also make from 5% to 7%, which is 40% growth. And you know it's going to be tough. And you know that who you are today, you won't be able to achieve that goal. You know you have certain limitations which has to be broken. You know there are certain sacrifices that you need to make. For example, it can be something as simple as no more late night binging. You are in the bed by 10 so that you wake up by 5 so that you do your exercises and your meditation and you're in your store by 9:30. First in, last out. 1 year. And you know that kind of a commitment is comfort zone breaking. No evenings without friends, comfort zone breaking. No binging, comfort zone breaking. Every morning meditation, comfort zone breaking. So much commitments are required. but you breaking everything down on a one day basis. आज के लिए ये करना है, 364 दिन और नहीं सोचना है मेरे को. I know what I want to achieve at the end of 365 days. Now let me focus on what needs to be done today. Let me not get overwhelmed. आज के लिए ये करना है मेरे को. This is the fourth scenario. So scenario number one, refuse to make changes till you have the capability and the confidence that guarantees success. Scenario two, you know there are big changes to be done, but you get scared of the changes, so you keep postponing the changes a few times. Scenario number three, you know that the risky and uncertain parts are in the future. You look forward to the future. All the risky and the uncertain parts are in the past, and you're looking forward to a glorious future, and you're taking small steps. Scenario number four, you have decided what you want to do and where you want to be a year down the line. You are committed to it 100%, and you have broken it down on a daily basis. Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me give you another scenario. Excitement-based focus. This was courage-based focus. What is excitement-based focus? You're trapped in your old working habits. You don't like the way things are. And every now and then your frustration comes out on others. So let's say we want to have 1 lakh children in KMM, but we adapt the same style every year. Obviously, it doesn't become 1 lakh. It continues to remain as 10 to 11,000 children directly inside the classroom and about 30,000 digitally. And every time I see that, I get frustrated at Joe. कि क्या कर रही है तुम लोगों से समझता नहीं है कि you can't make it. I have told you to make it 1 lakh. Why can't you do it? And I do the same thing again and again as per my style. I am caught. I am trapped in my old working habits. And all my expectations for progress is delegated to other people. Can you think of yourself this way? You are trapped in your old working habits. And somehow you want life to change. What you will experience here is frustration. If you are a person who gets frustrated at your work every now and then, and if you are successfully blaming others, you are in number one. Number two, you want to make your work exciting, but you don't change your habits, but you have small celebrations now and then. आया गर्मी है ना, चलो सबको कोकम दे दो. अरे छाछ पिलाओ सबको छाछ. मेरा वर्किंग स्टाइल सेम है, but I give these small gifts. I create this small fun. And I think now my work should change. क्यों? क्योंकि सबको छाछ पिलाया. अबे छाछ पिलाने से 150 का धंधा 250 होगा. But I want some excitement and I'm frustrated with my work. So my excitement is what? Do these insignificant, minuscule things. It's better than one. Definitely better than one. Scenario number 3. Your business is doing well. It's progressing. And you are happy with it. देखो ये भी अच्छा हो रहा है, ये भी अच्छा हो रहा है, ये भी अच्छा हो रहा है. You count your blessings and you find many people are struggling. They are not able to be profitable and you are profitable. So you find joy in everything right which is going on. This is the third kind of excitement. Excitement number 1, 0. This is only frustration. Scenario number 2, you create these small minutes of joy, which is fundamentally taste, clothes, and that's about it. Excitement number 3, we count our blessings and we are glad about everything which is going right. Excitement based focus number 4. You free yourself of your routine and you focus on the bigger picture. Because that big picture is super exciting for you. The proof is you freeing yourself of the routine. Through delegation, through getting good people, by creating efficient structures, by outsourcing things, many ways. But you're freeing yourself from the routine. Today, if there is something that you do in 9 hours of your work, you want to free 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours from an everyday basis. And you can only do that when something very exciting is there, which takes these 2, 3 hours. Now, many may talk about freeing themselves and they complain about they don't have good people. अच्छे लोग नहीं मिलते. And in your industry, there are many competitors coming up who are doing well. उनको लोग मिल गए, तुमको नहीं मिले. इशू लोग में नहीं है, इशू हम में है. So where are you? Excitement based focus. Trapped in old work habits, frustrated. I know I need to put more excitement and therefore I put these small things like I go for a 2-day holiday and come, I go to a restaurant and come, I give free chach or free kokum to people, I have an ice cream party with my people. That is the excitement that I put in my work. Number 3, I just count my blessings and I'm very, very grateful to God for the life that I have and excited about what I have. And scenario number 4, I free some time from my daily routine, knowing fully well I need to do something to create an exceptional future for myself. And that future that I have in my mind is very exciting for me. So think about it. If there are people over here who are struggling to create time and we keep talking about creating time, मेरे को 2 घंटा निकालना है, मेरे को 2 घंटा निकालना है, मेरे को 2 घंटा निकालना है. And if you are not taking that 2 hours out, that means either you are in number 1 or in number 2. And if you have diligently created that time, then you are in number 3. And you have created that time, given that work, and found something for yourself, which is super exciting about your life, then you are in number 4. अच्छा इतना बस करते हैं. I have many scenarios to speak about, but in today's session, let's keep it at this. And before we move on, any one of you who says you are in 4, congratulations and wish you all the best in excitement-based future goal path that you have crafted for yourself. If some of you are struggling, create a timeline for yourself in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 month, in this week itself. I'm going to move to level number 4. This year in KMM, in every session, we'll have a story. We'll have a self-assessment exercise. We will, in every session, discuss about one study technique. एक study technique की बात करेंगे. Like, how is it that children can sit to study and remember things in a beautiful way? What is self-assessment? What is study technique? For example, how many of you know about a technique called active recall? It's very simple. It just means that expose yourself to tests every now and then. So if you have studied something today, 5 friends should get together and day after tomorrow you should say, ask questions to each other on this subject. Prepare yourself for the test and test your preparation. Now you're not going to mark on this, but you're just going to get a little exposure on, अच्छा जो पढ़ा था याद है कि नहीं, जो पढ़ा है वो समझा है कि नहीं. So on an active basis, can you recall? It's a very simple yet a very, very powerful study technique. This is more superior than rereading. And most children depend on rereading for success in exams. Revise, revise, revise. What is rereading? Nothing but revise. So don't just go through the books and revise, but do active recall. Tell your parents, tell some seniors, tell some adults at home, ये subject पढ़ा है, last 3 years these are the questions which has come, but you can ask me any question to understand whether I've understood the subject or not. Active recall. There have been research where they have found 83% students grew by more than 17% through 3 stages of active recall. 83% students found benefit. How much? 17%. So imagine if a child is getting 65%, they will move into 80s, and if somebody is getting 75%, they move into 90s. With just 3 rounds of active recall. So as somebody is having lunch, as we are seeing a serial and let's say an advertisement is coming, you have a 10-minute break, you can do active recall. So one study technique that we are going to discuss this year in KMM is active recall. The 4th thing that we are going to do, story, self-assessment, every time one study technique. And the 4th thing is, we will give one activity to the children as homework. Every session, there will be an activity as homework. Chalo ye karke aao. For example, let's say today I am giving all of you an activity to do. What is that activity? Speak with any person today in your life and ask them how did they overcome any obstacle in their life. Ask any person. It can be the driver of your car, it can be your boss, it can be your spouse, it can be your children. But ask a person, in life there are obstacles all the time. Will you tell us about any one obstacle that you overcome in your life? It can be as simple as this 2-line question. In life, all of us go through obstacles. Can you share about any one obstacle? How did you overcome that? And finally, every session will have interactions. What is an interaction? When I ask you a question and give me an answer, it's interaction. One-way traffic is I am keeping on talking and you are keeping on listening. And two-way topic is when I ask you something and you have a need to respond. So in the chat box today, we have more than 300 comments. Now this is what? This is interaction. This is interaction. So the sessions are not going to be one way where you have to go and speak for 40 minutes. You have to engage with the children. And the engagement, one of the most powerful tools is interactions. So every session will have these 5 things that we will do. What are these 5 things? Every session will have a story, it will have a self-assessment, it will have a study technique, there will be active recall. In the study technique today we discussed about active recall. There will be an activity which is given as homework and there will be interactions. Now, what will be required from you for you to excel in KMM? Just 3 things, not too much. Just 3 things. First, what is required from you is commitment. Absolute, rock solid commitment. What do I mean by commitment? The dates of training session are fixed. The dates of you taking a session in the classroom will also be fixed. The date and timing when your ACs will have meetings with you will also be fixed. And the first timers over here, you don't know what is an AC, and I will come to that in a little while. गर्मी का मौसम है, तब तक आप इसी एसी को पकड़ के रखो. We have a very structured program where things are fixed. The AC will ask you to give a mock session. It's a 40-minute session, but your speaking might be about 20 minutes. And 20 minutes will be in activities, interactions, etc., etc. So the AC might tell you, give me a mock for 5 minutes about the story that you're going to say. You will come prepared. If a time has been decided, which will always be as per mutual convenience. See, it's a big machine, KMM. There are many moving parts. If one part does not work well, it creates a lot of load on the other parts and a lot of last minute hassles. We can understand questions of life and death. We can understand dire emergencies. What we don't understand is business. मेरे को एक क्लाइंट ने बुला लिया, इसके लिए जाना पड़ेगा, वो मुझे नहीं समझता. You have to treat KMM and the classroom and the children as your most important clients. We are not going to expect the world from you. We don't want you to sacrifice anything, but we need you to be structured. If a time has been decided, if you have given a commitment, then you'll stay by your commitment. KMM functions only through commitment. We have had about 35,000 sessions inside the classrooms across these years. And every session begins on time, not late. And if we are not able to go and produce quality inside the classroom, then it's pointless. There has to be commitment. Second, besides commitment, there needs to be a passion for excellence. कि जो भी करेगा ना कमाल का करेगा. मतलब कमाल और धमाल होना चाहिए. There will be a standard I will set up and I will deliver to that standard. Standard में कोई compromise नहीं होगा. Excellence is the byword. Every time you take a session and come out, you should actually feel proud of yourself. You know, there is a word in English called fulfillment, and then there is a word called relief. When a work gets done, either you feel relieved, अरे बाबा हो गया, चलो नक्की हुआ, or you feel fulfilled, मजा आ गया. It was such a beautiful thing. I'm so glad this happened. So I am so glad it happened versus I am so glad it's over. And the gap between the two is passion for excellence. I remember 2 years ago, I had gone to Bombay as a chief guest in one of the schools. And there, as a part of my speech, I shared something very interesting with them. The teacher was complaining that children distract me a lot, children are not so focused. They are more interested in exchanging glances between themselves rather than looking at the teacher. And I asked her, do you know how Sachin Tendulkar was as a student inside the classroom? Do you have any idea how MS Dhoni was as a student inside the classroom? Do you know how Ranveer Singh was a student inside the classroom? Chances are they were notorious. Chances are they were distracted. Chances are something else was super exciting in their life. Chances are the teacher standing in front is not very exciting. They're not having fun. They're not igniting the passion of children or igniting the imagination of youngsters. Now look at the classroom and believe that some of these children will go on to excel and make the country proud. I see the death valley and can I visualize a carpet of flowers given the right circumstances? No intelligence is required to call the death valley a death valley. And this is where passion for excellence comes in. जो भी करेगा वो कमाल का करेगा. I will go inside the classroom and come out not feeling relieved. चलो बाबा इस बार कमिटमेंट कर दिया था, 3 सेशन हो गया था, 4 और है, उफ. नहीं, फिर मजा नहीं आएगा. You should come saying, I'm excited. Today, I would have given one more stroke to a master stroke of a painting in the future. Maybe it's a relay race where I'll give them something. Somebody else in their 11th and 12th will give them something. 3 years down the line, somebody in college will give them something, and the painting will be complete. लेकिन बच्चे सुन रहे हैं, एब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं. They need a rock solid, positive, powerful influence, adult influence in their life. And I'm going to look at them, and in my eyes, they will see belief for them. Nobody will see me doubting them. Everybody will see me believing in them. Now, their response is not electrifying, so it's not exciting you because you want more from them. Every teacher, when they ask a question in the classroom, they want every child's hands to go up. But were you and me that children where we raised our hands every time the teacher asked a question, and yet we are doing well in life? So KMM needs 3 things from you. One is commitment. बोला है तो होगा ही होगा. बोला है तो होगा ही होगा. मतलब कमिटमेंट दे दिया ना तो होगा ही होगा. And we have done it for 22 years non-stop. Commitment दे दिया ना होगा ही होगा. Whether we have gone through good times or bad times, financially abundance in profits or financial loss, KMM बंद नहीं हुआ कभी. Second, जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा. I'm not doing it for the sake of doing it. KMM is not like an unwanted guest. कि आ गया तो पानी तो पूछना ही पड़ेगा. It is like the most beloved one coming home. And the smile does not leave your face. So KMM needs 3 things from you. Total commitment. जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा, excellence. And the third is cooperation. Cooperation. Mindset is cooperation. Let's say the AC has to decide on what is the time for the meeting to happen. And you are 10 people in the group, and for 7 of them are Tuesday evening 7 o'clock suits. It's a little uncomfortable for them, but can you cooperate and for 7 evenings in an entire year make it possible to schedule yourself that way? थोड़ा cooperation हो सकता है क्या? There are those rare times when a school needs a change in the schedule. Can we cooperate a bit with them? एक दूसरे के संग कोऑपरेट करने का. हम सब एक साथ के संग कोऑपरेट करेंगे. स्कूल्स के साथ कोऑपरेट करने का. If there is a speaker inside your group who's a little weak, cooperate with them and lift them. Some of you are veterans of KMM. You've been here for a long, long time. Sometimes, let's say your AC says you need to deliver much better. This delivery is not good enough. Especially if your AC is a gynac, you can ask them. They will expect excellent delivery every time. सच्ची. They won't compromise. बोला जब तक 0 defect delivery नहीं हुआ, sorry, I'm not going to let you go. Okay, once again, it was a joke. Some of you got it, some of you don't. So maybe you think you are really good, but your AC thinks, no, you need to become better. Please cooperate. The AC is the boss. Hmm? And if you get heated up, remember in summer between the heater and the AC wins. That was another joke. So just give us these three things. Commitment, जो भी करेगा कमाल का करेगा, and third is cooperation. If you can give this and clear is your approach, then we can definitely be together in KMM. Now, what is the process of KMM? How does KMM happen? So there is one category of people who are called speakers. There is one category of people who are called partners. So for the speakers, the first thing you have to do is something called PST. What is PST? It is not Pune State Transport Bus. It is public speaking training. I'm in the flow, what to do? मतलब रुक ही नहीं रहा है. All of you will go through a public speaking training. Those of you who have already done it earlier, I believe that you don't have to do it again. But for the first timers, even if you are extraordinary public speakers in other aspects of your life, for example, when you speak, your spouse listens, that does not qualify as public speaking. There is a method to public speaking, which includes crowd management, distraction handling, building up a subject, the tone of your voice. How do you speak in a tone which is loud enough for the last person inside the classroom to listen to and does not sound as shouting to the first row outside the classroom? There is a lot of very beautiful, simple yet profound insights which becomes a part of public speaking training. And normally this is 10,000 rupees per participant, but congratulations to all speakers of Keep Moving Movement. It is 100% free. So first thing is you have to go through PST, and PST, I think there is a timing which has been set, right? Joe, they have to complete PST in the month of May. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Between 15th and 30th of May.
Between 15th and 30th of May. So that is PST. The second thing is Sunday mornings. Now, what do you mean by Sunday mornings? Our training, like I will train you in 2 hours on a Sunday morning on how to take the next session. So there will be a background, there will be a briefing, there will be why this session is taken, how do you build up the session, how do you interact, when do you place what, everything will be shared with you. So these Sunday mornings are compulsory for you to attend. The schedule will be given to you. I think it starts from the first Sunday of July. Am I right?
Yes, sir. First Sunday of July.
So it starts from first Sunday of July and then 7 alternate Sundays, which means then the third Sunday of July and then I think the fifth Sunday of July, because July has 3 Sundays. And then accordingly you go on. At the gap of every one Sunday, 7 Sundays, Sunday morning is your training compulsory to attend. Then is something very interesting, which is the meeting with the AC and the team. Who is an AC? AC is a very cool person by nature. That is why they are called ACs. But more importantly, AC is called as the area coordinator. Now the whole team of KMM is divided into about sometimes 30, sometimes 32, sometimes 35 groups. And each group is called an area. So they are called area coordinator. It's a legacy name. Earlier, people wouldn't have to travel, all the meetings will be physical, so the whole city was divided into different areas, and every area had a coordinator. We are carrying on with the same names, though now many meetings might happen on Zoom. So the third thing that happens is, in the process of your preparation is, the meetings with the ACs is compulsory for you to attend. Why? Because in this meeting, there is a very open discussion on whatever we learned and whatever we cover in the topics in the session. The second thing, as you listen to the session, you might have some doubts on some subject. And in the AC meetings, the doubts are cleared. Then there is an implementation strategy which happens. For example, how do you create more impact through a story which is told? Like I might tell a story from my life. Like today, Jo shared about a story from her life about how Mrs. Ray impacted her when she was in school. So, similarly, you have to sometimes bring a story from your life, and the AC will help you in making it very deep, create an implementation strategy around your stories. Sometimes there are some more live examples which can emerge based on your personal life. So I might speak about in my childhood how much I used to love to eat food. Now that is relevant for the session, but let's say you are one of those people who's not fascinated with food. So in the classroom, you cannot say that example. You'll have to just fine tune it a little based on your life. We don't give a script which has to be parroted inside the classroom. We give you sessions which has to mirror your life too. Now the AC will help you in aligning and strategizing the session inside the classroom. The fourth thing which will happen is you will give a mock session to the AC. Now, every group has three or four seasoned people who don't have to give mocks per se, but there will be at least three or four new speakers in every group. And when you listen to the mock of the seasoned speakers and you listen to the mock of the other new speakers, you see many styles coming into play. You also understand how much impact can be done. And if you have been holding yourself a little back, mock sessions are like the active recall that I was speaking to you as one of the study techniques earlier. In the mock, you take systematic feedback, you improve, and the mocks have to be given within a time frame. For example, on Sunday morning, if you have a KMM session, training session, by Tuesday evening you have the AC meetings, all the mocks have to be cleared by Saturday. So that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have time to keep mulling over the session and making it better and better. Because remember, you have said, jo bhi karega, kamal ka karega. And the best part about the AC meetings personally for me is when we are able to share about our implementations. So we create this very beautiful AC group where everybody becomes everybody's cheerleaders. While you are one powerful, positive adult influence in the life of 40, 50 children inside your classroom, there is this group of 10 powerful, positive adult influences in your team with your ACs. So these AC meetings are very, very critical and it cannot be missed whatsoever. If you miss it, then jo bhi karega, kamal ka karega, commitment is not being a part of you. So AC meetings is necessary, giving a mocks is required. And then comes the last part, which is going to the sessions in the school. When you leave home, you will inform the coordinator. When you reach school, you will inform the coordinator. After the session, you inform the coordinator plus your AC. And then ensure that you celebrate. Develop the mindset to celebrate from now onwards. Don't wait for something really huge to happen for you to celebrate. Celebrate your victories, celebrate even the small things of your life. And learn to find fun. Kind of a schedule which the partners follow, which is like almost the same meeting with the coordinators, but two small differences over there. If you are a partner and you are a part of KMM, you are fundamentally a person who said, I'm not yet ready to go inside the classroom and speak. But PST is compulsory for you, so you'll go through that. The Sunday morning meetings are compulsory for you, you will go through that also. Meeting with the AC and the team is also compulsory for you, you will go through that. You will help your partners in preparing a portion of the session. So the partners are given a little exposure by the speakers to enable them to become partners very soon. Every year, there is about 10% of schools who comes only for 4 sessions and not for 7 sessions. So those partners who start enjoying these sessions after 2-3 exposures, they are promoted to become speakers that year and for speakers in the subsequent years. So this is how the partners work is a little different compared to the main speakers. This year, we will not only do KMM inside the classroom and of course create a YouTube link and give it to children. We are going 2 steps ahead. And this is a very profound 2 steps. And I need your help in both these steps. Step number 1. This year we are planning that the kids will not only get exposed to these 7 sessions, but Joe will be creating a 7-minute kind of a interactive video, and she's going to create about 50 of these videos. Every week, the kids will be shared with one video. We realize that while 7 sessions gets them pumped up and excited about life, a small touch now and then, active recall, will help them in integrating what they have learned very deeply into their life. And Joe has a super cool, very relaxed, super interactive kind of style. So she will be creating these videos, and all the children will be given one phone number. If they are interested in this, they just have to say hello or hi to that phone number, and then we add them to the database, and we start sending them these invites every week. Every week they will get one video enter. And when we are in active touch with them, every now and then some other offers can come. Like this year, towards the end of the year, we are also planning on a very, very powerful youth summit. Okay, I want everybody's attention right now. We are planning a youth summit. In the youth summit, the age group of children of KMM, our target is to register at least 1 lakh youth. 1 lakh बच्चे. We want to reach out to at least 1 lakh youth. So this year our outreach, by the time we end KMM, should be in lakhs, not just in thousands. Third thing we are doing is, and this is where some of you who are networked might be very helpful. In case you know of anybody who has a platform where there are thousands of students or thousands of youth who are enrolled, whether it's a coaching class platform or it is an educational platform. Like somebody approached me the other day, and he's from Gujarat, and he has an app called Guju Students. That's his app, Guju Students. And he has about 60,000 youngsters who are in 11th and 12th, who are a part of that Guju student study circle. It's a free app for children. So any Guju student who has not understood a subject can say, I have not understood this. And somebody in Gujarati will explain that session to them. So I am an advisor to TEDx. So he met me in one of the conferences of TEDx. And there he was saying, sir, I have this platform. Why don't you use it to share the knowledge of KMM with all my 60,000 students? And maybe if it goes all right, and if you find one Guju speaker, you might just have KMM sessions in Gujarati. For all Guju students, Jindabad kites. Okay. So if any one of you knows anybody who has a platform like this, who's doing some good work in the world of education, or who have youth for some reason together, we are looking for collaborations. No expense, no revenue, कुछ पैसे की expectation नहीं है, कुछ और expectation नहीं है. If they want co-branding and all, everything can be thought about. This year we want to focus in the back end on A, collaborations, and B, on the youth summit. So these two are very big things, plus of course with the video. So that is how this year will be very, very progressive compared to all the other years so far. Excited? I am. Because we are going to give the children a lot of support. We are going to have a breathtaking summit for them. The summit will be completely online. And third, we are going to create these collaborations across the country. If any one of you knows anybody in the neighboring countries where the ethos of India is the ethos that they have, the kind of family structure, emphasis on education. So Bhutan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, if any one of you has anybody over there, let us know so that we can collaborate with them and share what we have with them too. Achha, how many of you have heard about this ship called the Titanic? Every night in my dreams. You know Titanic, right? Okay. When I heard that song in Titanic by Celine Dion, I realized what a versatile star she is. But that story for some other day. Do you know the world was shocked when the Titanic sank? They called it as the unsinkable ship. And on its maiden journey, it sank, losing 1,517 lives. Till date, it is one of the deadliest maritime disasters in human history. On the night of April 14th, 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. The ship sent out a distress signal. There are these white flares. And they also on the radio started approaching and calling out for help. SOS, save our souls, save our souls, save our souls. When the Titanic was hit hard and started sinking, the call for help was heard by three ships. First ship was Samson. This ship was just 7 miles away from Titanic. Just 7 miles. It could have reached there in about 20 minutes. Unfortunately, while they saw the white flares which signals distress, while white flare means we are sinking, they saw the white flares. But the crew had been hunting seals illegally and they didn't want to be caught. So they turned back and they went the other way and they left everybody to die. That was Samson. This ship represents some people who care a damn about what is happening to others. And they can only think selfishly about themselves. And if the others are damned, so be it. If somebody has to die, so be it. हमको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? The second ship which heard the distress was Californian. It was only 14 miles away from the Titanic. The captain saw the white flares. He looked out and he saw it was dark, obviously 11:45 in the night. He thought that there are some ice blocks also. So he decided for himself, it's not comfortable to navigate in the dark. So we'll wait for the morning to happen. And then in the morning, if everything is clear and it looks safe, then we will go. He convinced the crew that nothing can be done as the conditions are not favorable. We should wait till conditions are perfect before we go out to help. This ship represents people who say, I can't do anything right now. Their justification is, I have so much to do, there is so much on my plate, मैं टाइम नहीं निकाल पाएगा, मैं जा नहीं पाएगा, वो असुविधा नहीं हो पाएगी. For some it is like Zoom में ना मेरे को जमता नहीं है. For some it is किसी से मिलना है ना, कोविड में ना मुझे किसी से मिलना अच्छा नहीं लगता है. For some it can be इतना commitment, Baba, I can't commit 7 mornings. What if I get something urgent in my life? And I ask these people, if you are 50 years old, tell me how many Sunday mornings was urgent in your life? कितनी urgencies आई है तुम्हारे लाइफ में आज तक? And somehow you're thinking an urgency might come. And what about those 50 children inside the classroom who don't have a powerful adult influence? You are waiting for perfect conditions. Well, that's Karpathia. Well, that is Californian. The third ship was Carpathia. It's a ship that represents people who say, a help in need is the help indeed. And they make valiant efforts. This was the last ship, the third ship which heard the distress call. The ship was actually headed down south. It was 58 miles away from Titanic. The first ship, Samson, 7 miles. Second, Californian, 14 miles. It would have reached there in less than 1 hour. Carpathia was 58 miles away. The captain of the ship sensed the distress, prayed to God for directions, turned the ship around, and went full stream ahead through ice fields. On that fateful night, the Carpathia was the first ship to respond to distress of the mighty Titanic. It took her approximately 3.5 hours to arrive at the position of Titanic's final distress call. And at this time, it was the Captain Arthur Rostron's valiant efforts to speed up his 9-year-old ship. The ship was certified for a maximum of 14 knots per hour. And Captain Arthur took it to 17 knots, which surpassed her quoted top speed by 25%. This was the ship that saved 705 survivors of the Titanic. In the history of humanity, this is one of the most heroic and perilous rescue effort. In the morning, when the captain looked back at the ice fields through which they have come, he said, somebody else's hands must be at the helm of the ship. It is not my work. This ship represents those people who believe, I will help without waiting for perfect conditions. The Carpathia saved 705 survivors. 1,517 lives got lost in their watery grave. It is said that if the first 2 ships had also responded, all the people on board Titanic could have been saved. Every child would have been saved. If we have enough responsible adults in our country who see the future of our nation and understand, if this is what the polls say, if this is what the children believe, they can be saved. Let me ask all of you a very simple question. Forget about what these children have said. In your childhood, in your teens, how many of you believed that you were average or you were not good enough because you were told that by people around you? And if you had somebody when you were in 8th, 9th, 10th, 10th who came at you, looked at you in the eye and said, I see something great in you, would you have lived a better life? Would you have been more courageous? Would you have made a little less mistakes? Would you have dreamt bigger? In our childhoods, we don't see ourselves as a hero. In our school days, we don't see ourselves as a hero. In fact, we often move through life like a shadow, just trying not to get hit or not to get yelled at. Ask your children at home and they will say this. We just want to avoid some yelling. We often move through life like a shadow, just trying not to get hit or not to be yelled at. Sometimes you and me have been abused, but we did not have anybody to share it with. And when we were traumatized, we were too traumatized to learn or retain anything. Sometimes some of us were smart, but we were scared to live up to our potential, fearing the sacrifice we will need to make, or the friends we will lose, or the joys that will pass by. In spite of that, some of us have risen up. Some of you would have risen up in spite of all this. But imagine in the safe environment of the classroom, or under the nurturing wings of a teacher like Mrs. Ray, we can transform our life, we can triumph. Question is, would you like to be that influencer who takes a few kids in their journey from being a charcoal to a diamond? Imagine this. You go inside the classroom, you take the session with these 50 kids. And imagine they write an autobiography and the title is From Charcoal to Diamond. And imagine on the first inner page they write, dedicated to Vinu Karthik. When the whole world saw a piece of ordinary charcoal, he saw in me a priceless diamond. Every child needs somebody who completely believes in them and is willing to hold their hands and say, let me help you in making the journey of your life a little more powerful, a little more fun-filled, a little more exciting. If this is the spirit that you have, then you are perfect for Keep Moving movement. The children are blessed to have you. We are blessed to have you. And the nation is blessed to have you. I look forward to your presence in Keep Moving movement. For those of you who are interested, this is where you register for Keep Moving movement. So if you want to register, you can register at this number, 7741085000, express your interest, and we'll send you the link. You also have a link over here. Looking forward to this year making an impact in lakhs of youngsters' lives. Thank you so much for making time on a Sunday morning and coming for all of us. Love you all, and may some real great things happen in your life.